Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, and I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the ground. Frickin' what is up, dude? Fired up for another dank ep of History is Dank. Just getting fired up on that song. By the way, I don't know if I've mentioned, but my bro Austin Miller made that song. He's a freaking straight up chiller, dude. Austin Chiller. He also did the song for Going Deep with Chad and JT. Maybe you heard of it. Freaking legends, dude. Aaron, what up, dude?
What up?
Chilling, dude. Fired up to be back in here, dude. Fired up that you're on the sticks, dude. Before we started recording, we were talking eats, and I was like, save it for the pod. Because I love talking my eats. I'm having one meal, I'm talking about another. I'm eating lunch, I'm thinking what's for dinner, you know? I'm having a snack, I'm thinking it's midnight. There's probably ghosts in my apartment right now. It's definitely what I'm thinking. I'm also thinking, I wonder if those teenage kids are blazing right now. I got a lot of neighbor complaints. I think I might be becoming that guy. And speaking of that guy, there's a downstairs neighbor who literally the other night was on a speakerphone phone call with one of his buddies, just talking so loud, and he's in some sort of sales, and literally I like woke up because this guy's voice was just one that carried. He's like, oh yeah, that's the worst. Oh, and I wake up to this phrase of him going, oh, when shit like that happens, it makes me want to slit someone's throat. It's like, what the hell's going on down there?
I'm sure he's killed dozens.
Yeah, totally. What's this guy? Is he an assassin or a salesman? I don't know. He's probably this guy selling shower curtains or something like that. Anyway, shower curtain rings, dude. Freaking John Candy style. Freaking planes, trains, and automobiles style, dude. But yeah, dude, just not fired up on that guy down there, just having too loud of phone calls and his buddy's on speakerphone. When I was able to understand crystal clear what his buddy was saying, I was like, I'm having none of this. And then I would work up the courage to go say something and be direct about it, except I would get outside and then I'd hear him go, I go, you know what? He's just having a conversation with his buddy heart to heart. It was a Saturday night when this was happening. I was like, whatever, dude. So I just freaking opened my refrigerator for a little bit, then closed it so that the freaking fan would come back on to cool things down, and then just fell asleep with the white noise of the refrigerator going. So basically what I'm saying is I'm soft. Couldn't just be like, hey, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Can you just, it's like 3 a.m. Can sort of understand everything you're saying. If you could just, just go ahead and keep it down. Then I want to go, of course, over the angry version of, are you kidding me? It's 3 a.m. You're on speakerphone. Take it inside. You're in a shared space. You're in a courtyard. Everything you're saying is echoing around here. What are you, an Amazon Echo? Zing. Good night. Got to end every interaction on a zinger, Feels freaking dank to do that. But dude, Aaron and I were talking eats. Sorry about that little tangential sidetrack there. We're talking dank eats. And me and my Jeff, we've been making dank chickpea recipes. I don't know if I may have mentioned this before, but we've just been really, really having fun adding new ones to the arsenal of our chickpea arsenal. We're doing chickpea curry. Very dank, dude. My Jeff's texting me, hey, Shard, can you pick up some cumin on the way home? Boom. Getting it done, dude. Making it happen, dude. And then, Aaron, dude, I don't know if this is something you want to talk about on the pod, but, you said your wife made you a pie, dude. Cherry pie?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly sweet thing. She's like, what's your favorite? And it's our 4-year wedding anniversary. It was last week.
Congrats. Love that. Legends.
Thank you. She is a legend.
Dank.
And the anniversary is fruit and flowers is the traditional gift.
Mm.
So she asked, what's your favorite pie? I said cherry.
Dank.
And she made it for me while I was here at work, which amazing. Great stuff. Apparently she went to the grocery store and was unable to find pie filling. And not only that, was not able to find cherries, even ones with pits in them that she would have to de-pit, which I would not want her to go to that effort.
Appreciate she made that. She thought about that.
She thought about that.
It's love.
You don't need to do that for me. I don't care about food that much. But instead, she filled that cherry pie, with maraschino cherries.
For anybody listening, maraschino cherries are the cherries that are usually like in the bottom of your Shirley Temple, and you're like, oh, dude, dang, there's like one of these in here? Sick. Then you eat one, and you're like, that was it. Then maybe you have two. And a lot of times people are like, I don't even really like them that much, so if I get like a Roy Rogers and my GF is crushing a Shirley Temp, or, you know, vice versa, we'll get to the bottom of that, and I'll be like, you want my cherry? She's like, for sure I want that. So an entire pie of that, I mean, that's pretty insane, dude.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
You know, and here's the thing. You're a good husband because you've been housing it.
Yeah.
You've been eating it.
You got to eat it.
Even though you got to freaking bear down and just get through it, it's not dank. It is dank of you that you're doing that. You know, you guys are showing each other mutual love, and I like that.
Yeah. She did great with the crust. So I'm giving her loads of credit for that.
Which is, you know, I hear
really hard.
That's the tough part, the crust, dude. You know, freaking stores out of filling, dude. What are people buying up TP and filling, dude? Quarantine times, dude. Come on, dude. Shit, man. You know, I actually went to go get chickpeas, and I like asked the dude, I was like, hey, where can I find chickpeas? And the dude at the store was like, what? I was like, oh, garbanzo beans. He's like, oh, garbanzo beans. Oh, dude, aisle 3, cruise over there, no problem. Then I went there and they were out. And then it's weird. I found out there's like I think it was at Vaughn's. They had a Spanish aisle where it was like Spanish brands, and they were out of garbanzo beans of like the, I don't know, brands that I guess people that don't shop in the Spanish section get. And there was tons of garbanzo beans in there. It was like just a Spanish company. So weird. It's literally the exact same thing. Canned garbanzo beans.
Was it, damn, I don't remember the company now. The one that Trump like endorsed.
No, I made sure. Yeah, dude. Goja or whatever, or something like that. I don't remember. Goji or Goya.
Goya.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I didn't get those. They do sell black beans of those, but I didn't get them, dude. I've been crushing beans, dude. But I don't know why garbanzo beans get hate, dude. You know, peanut. You crush peanuts, you get peanut butter, dude. You know, you crush garbanzo beans, you get hummus, dude. They got a branding problem, dude, garbanzo beans. It's the 21st century. What is your brand, garbanzo beans? Figure it out, dude. It's got to be chickpeas, dude. Which reminds me of this is a classic. This is a dirty uncle joke here. This is like anybody out there who's thinking about getting into comedy or stand-up comedy, and then, you know, you got to tell your family at Thanksgiving, well, hey, Chris, what do you know, your older brother or your dad will razz you a little bit. Tell him what you're doing now, Chris. Instead of working, well, he's got a job, you know, but he's not focusing on it. He's just at Starbucks right now, which, by the way, if you work at Starbucks, they got you can work your way up the ladder. I'd switch over to In-N-Out. They got great starting wages, and, you know, they like to hire from within. Anyway, dude. I'm a big In-N-Out proponent, dude. Fired up, dude. But, you know, like, you know, Aaron freaking likes Five Guys for some reason, dude. Even though, you know, Aaron, let me ask you this question before I continue with my garbanzo bean tangent. Mm-hmm. If you were a king, okay, you're a king in ancient times, but
I imagine it all the time.
I do actually. I'll also do imagine that. When I'm just sitting on my couch, dude, and I'm waiting on a DoorDash delivery, which, honestly, you don't need to be an ancient king. You can just be ordering DoorDash and make this happen.
Just wear a robe.
Dude,
robes.
So true.
Silk.
I've got regal tendencies, dude. It's just, I got a propensity for nobility, dude. It's just sort of what I have, dude. I like to freaking post up barefoot, dude. I'm trying to just die of gout, dude. It's really what I'm trying to do, dude. Just house wine and get it, dude.
I'm right there with this maraschino cherry pie.
Yeah, dude, yeah, you are. Yeah, you're not far behind me, dude. Nipping at my heels, getting to my big toe. Dude, so let me just paint you this scenario. If somebody delivered you 2 options, an In-N-Out burger with Five Guys fries, okay? Or would you have And your other option is a Five Guys burger with Five Guys fries. What are you going to do?
I mean, I would go Five Guys all the way.
What, dude?
Yeah. But I would not turn my nose up at the In-N-Out option as long as it wasn't In-N-Out fries.
So you're just saying straight up you pick an In-N-Out burger. Excuse me, you pick a Five Guys burger over an In-N-Out burger.
Am I trying to save money?
No. You're a king.
I'm a king.
You're a king. You're a ruler.
Oh, yeah. Then I'm going Five Guys. Yeah, all the way.
Oh.
Yeah. But if I'm trying to be thrifty, that In-N-Out burger is like $12 cheaper.
And frickin' 12 times danker. You know what, dude, Aaron? Now I need to offend you with this uncle joke just to get back at you for that choice.
Okay.
All right, here we go. It's like a street joke, you know, if someone's like, hey, Chris, it's Thanksgiving, tell them a joke. Or, you know, when you tell someone you do stand-up comedy, you use the phrase, oh, I do comedy. You're not quite sure where you fit in that realm yet. You know, and then they, oh, really? Oh, you do? Tell me a joke. And, you know, you're like, well, I'm trying to figure out my jokes. My jokes are kind of, you know, I'm working on premises. I get up and say them. It's kind of not the right setting. And I get it. And it sounds like you're working around it, but it's part of the craft. You're not ready for it yet. Maybe your style isn't set up punch. Not everyone's set up punch with stand-up, dude. And I feel like that's even more of a rarity now. Like, if someone even told, like, Sebastian Maniscalco, who's killing it right now, like, dude, tell your doorbell joke about when the doorbell goes off. It's like, well, it's a huge act out. It's a huge, like, charismatic display. And, like, the premise when it boils down to it is just like, oh, you know, like just the freaking culture around when a doorbell rings. It used to be, you know, 25 years ago, people felt inviting and open, and now everyone's closed off. Like, that's basically the joke is about how people are shut up in their own worlds now, you know. And then he does it through a fun lens of a big Italian family, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna fucking explain that to you, Uncle Jeff, at Thanksgiving, okay? And you know, people who are wildly successful, their premises and great jokes don't exactly translate at the Thanksgiving table. But what those guys want to hear is what their work buddy Hank told them, you know, while they're getting Coors Lights after their shift, where there's nothing wrong with that. He's just telling them a street joke, you know. He wants to hear, you know, Polish guy, Irish guy, Italian guy walk into a bar type jokes. And it's like, well, no one's paying to go to a club to see that. Maybe some are at a high level, and, you know, you work a few of those into your set. Great. But anyway, Aaron, I'm about to offend you with this joke right here. And this is a joke that you should tell at Thanksgiving, so, you know, you can upset people at the table in a sick way of retribution and passive aggressiveness. Aaron, what's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean?
I don't know. What is the difference?
Do you know this joke?
I don't.
Okay. I don't pay a chick to garbanzo bean on my face. It's good. I love it.
That's solid.
You know, it's going to upset Mom. Uncle Jeff's going to love it. That's a joke. You know what? You know, tell my brother here, you know, your father. Tell my brother your father here. You know, maybe this kid's got a chance. Maybe he's found his footing here, you know? Chicks peeing on a face. I like that stuff. Good stuff. It's good stuff. It's a great joke. Gets me every time. It's one of those that gets me every time. You know, sometimes they say, oh, joke gets old. You know, and everyone wants to keep, you know, we all love listening and revisiting our favorite songs, and we get into the mood of it. But a good, just classic little joke like that, they're just fun, you know? Reminds me of like something that, who played Funkhauser on Curb, dude? That guy, rest in peace, Super Dave.
Super Dave Osborne.
Super Dave Osborne. Legend, dude. Something he'd say. But yeah, he'd been crushing a lot of beans, dude. Been freaking so dank, dude. And I'm like, dude, they're loaded with nutrients, dude. Chickpeas, basically a superfood. My I was about to say my chick. Hilarious, dude. My GF, freaking, she crushes a lot of these things. She's vegetarian, dude. Every once in a while we will crush sushi, so technically pescatarian, but normal during normal times, dude. Freaking just straight up vegetarian. And chickpeas are loaded with those nutrients, dude. Freaking bed that shit in some quinoa, dude, and freaking just, honestly, dude, make gains that way, dude. And all sorts of beans, dude. Black beans, kidney beans, dude. Mix it up, dude. Get your beans in, dude. Get it in. You're gonna be freaking thanking yourself. And then I was like, just really getting fired up, dude. And I've been getting existential during this QT, and dude, reading poetry, figuring stuff out, and dude, I'm stumbling upon Cowboy Poetry, and it was sort of this like spoke to me in my life. And maybe I was doing that thing where I was like, kind of when you read your what's it called, like your astrology signs or whatever the hell that is, dude, like your
horoscope,
your horoscopes, and basically they can say something pretty broad, but then you go in your own life, connect the dots to it and be like, oh, that must be what that is. I forget what the term for that is, but you know, I could be doing a little bit of that, dude, connecting the own dots in my life. But I was like, dude, I'm crushing a lot of beans. I'm fired up on poetry. You know who loves freaking beans, dude, is Cowboys, dude. And you know, I'm a big fan of the cowboy mashup and anything that you do. You're a DJ, put on a cowboy hat, be the cowboy DJ, mash up some country musics. Hasn't been done yet, dude. And call them musics. You know, be real old fashioned about it. And, you know, if you're a business guy, you're in finance, dude, you're making sales calls. I don't even care if you're not on Zoom, if people can't see you. Put the hat on. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to come through on the phone. Okay? Put a belt buckle on. Wear boots in your own apartment. Tap into that, dude. I'm fired up on cowboy culture. I'm fired up on the cowboy aesthetic.
If you're a jack dude in Times Square with a guitar, throw a cowboy hat on that.
Yes. If you're John Voight in the 70s.
Shit, I forgot to mention in his underwear.
Yeah, you got to be that
cowboy.
dude. Yeah, dude. But we know that guy. That guy would have a killer Instagram today. It'd be killer. John Voight, dude, Midnight Cowboy. Make a little few extra buckets as a gigolo, you know? Dark world, but, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And old ladies, they need some loving too, you know? Anyway, I'm fired up on this cowboy stuff, and there is a genre of poetry out there called cowboy poetry. And today, I'm going to delve into a little bit of the history of cowboy poetry. And I was like, what's going on with this stuff? Where did it come from? I can't believe there is cowboy poetry. It's like a bunch of dudes. Like, is there valet poetry? Like, what? Like a bunch of valets just getting together, dude, doing poetry? I mean, that'd be something sick, you know? Seems like this sort of blue collar lifestyle with this, you know, esoteric, elitist sort of, you know, you think of poetry. Yes, they tap into the everyday experience and the soul of every man, and it connects widely. But it's like, it seems like it's this sort of, you know, highfalutin, you know, high society type thing to do. And in certain cases, it for sure is that. But then you get cowboy poetry going on, dude. Bunch of dudes using their mitts, dude. Like a, you know, cobbler poetry. Dudes making shoes and then writing poems about it, dude. I'm fired up on this. I'm fired up on hearing these, you know, Western augurs, if you will, freaking wax poetic, dude. And I want to learn more about it. And I'm fired up, and I did a little bit of research, dude. And I think, you know, it's rooted in, of course, country Western, you know, anywhere west of the Mississippi, you could dive in and start trying to dissect, did cowboy poetry start here or there? And then I'm sort of starting in Elko, Nevada, okay? It's out west. It's the northern part of the state. And I start there because in 1985, I guess you could say there was a new renaissance of cowboy poetry here. You know, it's rooted in, we'll find here, post-Civil War era is really when it comes on the scene, and it's more known as cowboy poetry, even though it existed in forms as, you know, soldier hymns or sailor hymns even before that. But we'll tap into that in a little bit. But if you go to Elko, Nevada, circa 1985, you're going to go to a little something called the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering, and nothing fires me up than a group of like-minded people coming together to do something dank, you know? And they're just sharing each other's thoughts out there. They're like, look, we like to come to this old freaking hotel, okay? Where cowboys have been coming for hundreds of years, and just sharing thoughts, you know, that they have out on the open range. Because, dude, when you're a cowboy, you're out there, you're herding cattle, dude. You're camping outside. You're eating beans out of a can. You're tossing some jerky in there. You're getting in that half squat like the freaking symbol of Black Angus, which I've never eaten at a Black Angus. Have you ever eaten at a Black Angus before, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. This is incredible. What's going on in there?
I mean, it's like a steakhouse. It's fairly good. There's one here in Burbank.
Yeah, I see it. I drive by it. It never looks open. No one's ever there.
It's not open now.
When do you eat at a Black Angus? I guess you go get dinner there.
You go like, we would go like to celebrate something.
Hell yeah. Celebratory.
Somebody gets a job, some in the family growing up,
See, when I was a kid, I really, really wanted to be, and I've talked about this before about my personality, where I'm more of a Cheesecake Factory. I'm an amalgamation of choices and recipes and everything to just make someone happy. I want and need to be liked. Okay, if you don't like me, I'm not going to get my 8 at night. I'm a type of guy who needs to say goodbye to you 5 or 6 times just so I get it right and I feel good about the goodbye. Like you're in your car and I'm still following you there and I'm like, call back from 25 minutes ago and you're like, this guy's out of his mind. That's me. Now I've learned to tame it a little bit. I found a medium like not poetry or maybe, a podcast or whatever it is. You got to channel that shit. Otherwise you're out of your mind. But Aaron, for me, I always imagined, I really wanted to identify with a Black Angus, and I wanted to be that guy out there cooking a skillet, thinking to myself, am I out here, doing this for my family? Is there a woman back home and a small child that I'm, out on the range wrangling this cattle for, just looking to get back to and, tassel my son's hair and, make good missionary style love to my wife when I get home. And that's sort of who I see that Black Angus guy as.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that guy, running from his family? He's got kids all over the place and the range is his home. The Wyoming plains, I don't know. And then I like to imagine, being my 5th grade self thinking, I've been to a rainforest cafe and I'm eating burgers in a jungle setting and that's amazing. Is a Black Angus somewhere I've never been inside? Is it like, or sort of like a Benihana style meets Rainforest Cafe where they just give me a skillet and a piece of raw meat and I cook it myself right there and I feel like a man while I'm in downtown Burbank? That's a 21st century model I could subscribe to, watered down, I guess, we're tapping into gender norms and talking about manliness here, but watered down sort of do-it-yourselfness, out there on the range, which is, I think, something we all admire in Cowboys. It's like you get your own grill and inside of a Black Angus, you cook yourself a New York strip bone-in or a Kansas City ribeye. You bake a potato, it comes out. Of course, they give you all the sides there, and it's all portioned out and ready to go. And, you're getting a Shirley Temple while you do it, and you're housing them, you're giving your GF the friggin' Marichando cherry or whatever the hell afterwards, But it's just what I envisioned. Is it anything like that?
No, unfortunately not. It's not terribly, I don't even think it's terribly Western themed inside. Maybe they have some animal heads.
Cool.
Off the wall, but
I'm into that.
But yeah, no, it's just a steakhouse. You get served just like you would anywhere else. Not terribly expensive, not cheap, but not terribly expensive.
Wish I could go in there and they just give you like a, Dances with Wolves style buffalo heart. You just gotta
Tatanka.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta get that
Just pass it
Tatanka.
around.
Damn straight. Hell yeah. Forgot that's what it was, Tatanka, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yes. Anyway, dude. Back to Cowboy.
It was the first place where I went and got a burger and they gave you a knife with it.
See, that's a great move. That's a good restaurant burger. Mm-hmm. Now I get Carl's Jr.'s marketing campaign now of the restaurant burger without the restaurant price, because there is a little something to the restaurant burger that's different than the fast food burger.
Sure.
Thicker cut of meat.
Mm-hmm.
Farm style slice of Tillamook cheese on there. Aioli, which is just mayonnaise with garlic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so dank.
Mm-hmm.
You like Carl's Jr., Aaron?
I do.
What do you get when you go there?
Usually go for the Superstar. Sometimes a $6 burger, Big Carl.
I get the Western Bacon Combo.
Yeah.
You know the only difference between a Hardee's and a Carl's Jr. in my experiences?
I believe it's what side of the Mississippi it's on.
Oh, Aaron, that might also be 100% correct and perhaps the true distinction. However, the distinction in my experience is they do not have a Western Bacon Combo there. And that's the dankest thing. It's barbecue sauce, it's onion rings, it's a strip of bacon between 2 crispy patties and some crisp cut fries. Dude, the fried zucchini, I'm getting hungry right now. But I'm also getting hungry for a little soul quenching. I want to eat with my tummy, but I want to slake my soul's thirst with some dank poetry. And let's tap into it, this dank cowboy poetry, dude. So you're in 1985. You're in Elko, Nevada, dude. You're wearing yourself a freaking acid-washed pair of jeans and a pair of boots, and you're cruising in there to your house, and probably not an IPA, even though they are up on the scene now, but you're probably having yourself a Western Lager, maybe even a Coors Light, the banquet beer. Probably a Bud Original, though. And you're going to sit there and you're going to listen to some dank Cowboys share their experience. So just the basic breakdown of it here before we get, have a little bit more fun with it is it's produced the National Cowboy Poetry Gatherings produced by the Western Folky Center, and just basically highlights hundreds of years of cowboy poetry and a reinvigorated tradition that's never ceased to be part of the lives of cowboys and ranchers in the rural western states, dude. Then in 2000, the freaking U.S. Senate recognized the cultural value of this tradition and the event responsible for its renaissance when it passed a resolution naming the Elko Gathering the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering. So it became the National Gathering in 2000. And there's other gatherings like this throughout the state, but this is like the big one, dude, that dudes go to. And they got heavy hitters there, dude. Great cowboy names. Dudes with a name like Early. Dudes with names like Gus. Yeah. Dudes with names like Red.
Yeah.
Sick ass cowboy names.
Dusty,
for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Aaron, if you had a cowboy name, what would you want it to be?
Jeez.
Maybe Buck?
Oh, Buck's good.
Buck's not bad.
Oh, man.
Blue? Pick a color. You can turn it into a cowboy
That's
name.
true.
Red, blue.
Except orange.
Yeah, orange. Yeah, you can't really be orange.
It's gotta
and
be
you don't
one
want to be
syllable.
yellow.
Yeah.
Calling me yellow fella?
Yeah, it's
Shit,
got to be.
you dead at noon.
It's got to be one syllable.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe my cowboy name should just be Dank. I think that might be chill.
I know in Back to the Future 3, he didn't like Biff didn't like Mad Dog, or sorry, Buford Tannen. Didn't like Mad Dog, but I kind of like Mad Dog. That's fun.
You know what's a great... Yeah, Mad Dog's awesome, dude. It's Mad Max, Mad Dog. You know what's a great cowboy name from Unforgiven is Clint Eastwood's character's name, Will Money. And his money's spelled like M-U-N-N-Y.
Mm-hmm.
Good name, Bill Money. If you're on finance and you're looking to get an Instagram or you're selling insurance or whatever it is, and you need a branding, Bill Money from State Farm. It's even a farm. It's got a Western tinge to it, You come into your office, you put a moose head on the wall. You get one of those like, you put deer, buck hunter, arcade so the kids can play it while you're selling the parents, earthquake, home, fire, dental, whole thing.
Kurt Russell played Wyatt Earp in Tombstone.
Yes.
One of the greatest.
Great movie. Also came out at the same time Wyatt Earp came out with Kevin Costner, which is an inferior movie in my opinion.
Far inferior.
Yes.
He has a son named Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt Russell. Dude, he's great. I love Wyatt Russell.
But born well before Tombstone, 1986.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So maybe he always knew of Wyatt Earp's story and then was fired up to be in Tombstone. And I heard
maybe
Kurt Russell even took over directing a lot of Tombstone because like the director couldn't handle it. And he like finished that movie like a beast. So I think he's tapped into that.
I don't think George Cosmatos is going to feel that good about that.
Is that the director's name?
Yeah.
I think it is George Cosmatos. Right now this could just be me reiterating and saying things.
I think you might be confusing with Wyatt Earp because I feel like that's a thing Kevin Costner does all the time.
That sounds right. And Costner's directed.
Like Waterworld, I think the director and him fought and then the director walked and Costner finished it.
Dang. Surprised you didn't have to swim away from the movie. Zing, dude. What up? All right. So this is a quote from the Gathering's founder. Why cowboy poetry? Why have this thing? There's a Dank movie called Man on a Wire, and the dude that movie's about, I forget his name, says he walks across like on a freaking balance wire, dude, acrobat style, the Twin Towers, like in the 70s, dude. The guy's a freaking beast, dude.
Yeah.
Incredible doc if you haven't seen it. And then he gets interviewed about it, and he's like, everyone's asking me why? Such an American question to ask. Why? How come you cannot just do? Love that. So, to my American listeners out there, aka my U.S. citizens listeners, the founder says this dude Cannon, bro. It's a great cowboy name, just Cannon.
Oh yeah.
He says the image of
Colt.
a cowboy. Yeah, Colt, great one. I've got a buddy.
Is a good one.
Yeah, my buddy Danny's son's named Colt. Good one, dude. Colt, Rocky, and Tom Tom, the three ninjas, dude.
Yeah.
Him and his wife need to start unjoining so they can get all three ninjas going. That'd be freaking sick, dude. Halloween's would be dope. And they might have the age gap down too if they really get going. You know, like today. I might have to call him after the podcast and say, "Have you made love to your wife today? Because you're missing out, bro. Okay, you could have all three ninjas."
I think he said Tom Tom, but it's Tum Tum.
It's Tum Tum?
Because he's kind of chubby.
This whole time I've been thinking it's Tom Tom.
It's Tum Tum.
Oh my God.
He is always eating, I think. I don't think he's actually chubby at all, but
he's always having like a snack.
yeah, he's always eating.
Like a gummy snack.
Mm-hmm.
Where were the parents? They were in the FBI. That's where. They were trying to stop Schneider. That's where they were. What a great ass movie. Dude, one of the best quotes of all time, and this should be a quote from the Going Deep podcast for Getting After It. First we feast, then we felony. Dude, those three guys, like in my acting career, when I become an actor, I'm manifesting it now. I just want to have those peripheral character roles, dude. Like when Will Ferrell was his best, like the robber guys and Three Ninjas all deserve Oscars in my opinion. Those guys all absolutely crush it as surfer bro criminals. They need a spin-off movie. Who's not writing that movie? I should be writing it now. Get those guys. Who would not watch that? That would be amazing. Then they have another, if I was a little booger, where would I be? Parents' room. Dude, it's amazing. It's the best movie ever. Light up their eyes, boys. Light up the eyes. Just kick that dummy in the dong. So, dude, the image of a cowboy had strayed so far from reality through negative images in the media and in movies, the Cowboys felt they needed to have a form of the expression of their true selves. Love that, dude. They're saying, all right, you know, there's the Marlboro Man, you know, there's gunslingers and rustlers and this and that. But, dude, honestly, that's a small percentage of who the Cowboys are. You know, we're not outlaws, dude. We're thinkers, dude. We're deep thinkers out there on the range, dude. So it's just them saying, we want our own voice. We want to be heard, and we're going to do it in a freaking dank way. And we're going to gather and hear others. So it's freaking dank, dude. And you got to ask yourself, you know, it is an interesting question, and I do like that we ask why. You ask, like, why does poetry exist? You know, why transcendentalism? Is that because, why go into nature? Why do these dudes, you know, Whitman or whatever, go and get a cabin in the woods, and, you know, Zane Grey or whatever, and freaking, he's more like a novelist, or, you know, tap into like the nature? Is it because, they came up in an era where there's modernization going on and it's a reaction to that? And so you have to say, and I don't want to, you know, put myself in a corner and say, you know, art and poetry is a reaction to just what's happening in the times, but, you know, you can't deny that to a degree. But then you can also say the art and poetry can affect decision makers and people in positions. It can affect the times as well coming out of that. So you get to the age-old question, does art reflect life or life reflect art? You know, we can debate that all day long over a dank burger from In-N-Out. You know, and Aaron gets a Five Guys. He's out of his mind. But to each his own, you know? So it's interesting. You know, why you look at form poetry, right? You know, when you get into cowboy poetry, there's no real form. It's more like free verse. There's fun rhymes. And, you know, cowboys do like have fun with words. They have their own sort of vernacular, so that's always going to be in there. But, you know, like a haiku, why does that develop? Well, it develops like, if you go back to Lady Murasaki's book, The Tale of Genji, she talks about high court culture in Japan, which honestly, it could be known as the very first novel of all time, The Tale of Genji. And it's written by a woman, which is also friggin' dank. And it's from the perspective of this dude Genji, who's moving up the high court scene in Japan and, you know, the high echelons of society. And haikus are basically sort of what we have today. You can create a connection of like tweets. Like in a tweet, you have to be clever within 140 characters. And so in a haiku, you had to be clever within that stanza breakdown, which I forget what it is, like 353 or something like that.
575.
575, legend. See, so you create parameters, and so how can you have your wit within form? And it's pretty dank. And it was a way you could use them to flirt. You could use them to be poignant about something topical that was going on. And, you know, you could write it down. You could put it on a woodblock print. People could see it. You would, you know, send it in a scroll to someone's bed chambers or something like that. You could speak only in haikus to a lover you are interested in, being clever with one another, courting each other. And sort of this whole poetry structure comes out of it. Well, limericks, it's also structural, but maybe those are some more, a little bit blue, a little more ribald oftentimes. But, we can all just go out and say dong, 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 or play the penis game in school. But can we be clever with how we play the penis game? And, I think that's even being done today in mockumentary form with that Netflix show. What was that Netflix show when they dissected like true crime parody? Jimmy Tatro was in it. It was about the dicks were being...
American Vandal?
American Vandal. There you go. Sort of like a limerick, Anyway, dude, a little bit more on cowboy poetry. Just want to get your dome spinning right there, dude, right? A little bit more cowboy poetry. Found this article on the National Cowboy Poetry Convention's website. Very dank, dude. And very resourceful going right there. Didn't do too much deep dive in. Found some fun poems that I want to share one after this. My favorite poem that I found, my favorite cowboy poem. But a little bit more about the form before we get into it. A little history. After all, it's a History is Dank podcast. So paraphrasing here from this article, but author goes on to say that we know that cowboy poetry got its start in the trail driving days after the Civil War, like I mentioned earlier. Some eclectic cowpokes, cowboys, with extra time on their hands, they're out there on the range, dude, freaking camping out there, dude, setting up sleeping bags, dude, making sure scorpions aren't in their boots, dude. Took the ballad tradition from the British Isles and some influence from songs and battle hymns from their fighting days in the Civil War, aka poems of songs, soldiers, sailors, lumbermen. Love to hear some lumberman poems, dude. Joe's hog I could do a whole poem about Joe's hog, dude. But I don't know why that made me think of it. Oh, lumberman, yeah, because he's packing freaking wood, dude. But it goes here to say, like, I was talking about, does poetry come out of the times or reflect the times? Well, a war's going on. You got a bunch of dudes in a common situation. They're trying to cope with it in certain ways. And, one way to express and deal with that fear and anxiety and camaraderie that comes with it is, you sing songs, you create poems. Not everyone has the musicality, but you will notice there's a cadence and rhythm to sort of how a cowboy poem reads. I'll try to do my best when I share one in a moment here. But so it's rooted in these sort of dude-centric freaking professions, kind of, and there's a dash of Victorian poetry that they probably heard in school, so they're combining their education with their life experience. And also, they can't deny but be influenced by the adventure magazines, Tall Tales, Pecos Pete and Paul Bunyan, Pecos Pete, I think, Paul Bunyan, Johnny
Bill.
Appleseed. Is it Pecos Bill?
Pecos Bill, I believe.
Pecos Bill, yeah. Johnny Appleseed. I'm sure if you went to like a Buffalo Bill show and down in here and, it used to be a traveling Western show, and then they have like a standing one here in Buena Park, like by Knott's Berry Farm. I'm sure you could get some dank cowboy poetry there.
There's also the Cowboy Museum.
There's a Cowboy Hall of Fame too. My buddy Brooks's grandpa, Brooks, who was on the Snappa episode, he's an expert in Snappa and a filmmaker and trying to discover the origins of it. His grandpa's in the Cowboy Hall of Fame, Texas.
The Gene Autry Museum is a cowboy museum.
Really?
In Griffith Park, yeah.
See, dude, I need to go there.
It's good. It's fun.
Freaking love that. I got to check that out. I love this cowboy culture, dude, and learning even more and more about it, dude. And learning more about it from primary sources, dude, and from the poetry they create themselves and then share. This guy goes on to say cowboys are, big readers. They could get their hand on a book. Back in the day, they'd, dissect it and then share their knowledge with, dudes who couldn't read or whatever out on the range, and sort of maybe that's an origin of the poetry of like a dude just talking about Homer, but doing it in the way that a cowboy would talk about it. He's talking about, the Iliad, where he's like, dude, this dude Odysseus, dude, who honestly, he was a bard kind of like me, dude. And, Odysseus, dude, the guy had a way with words. He was cunning, dude. If you're going to make it on the range, you got to be cunning. So there's freaking lessons to be learned there, dude, you know? And honestly, freaking dude had to pass a lot of tests. It's kind of like when we're herding the cattle, you know, we're trying to just get this, we're not going back to Ithaca, we're going back to probably Cheyenne, but we got to get the cattle there, and we're going to, you know, we're going to stop by a saloon, and there's going to be some sirens there. There's going to be some, excuse my, you know, language here, but some bunnies that are going to distract us, dude. But we got to stay focused on getting back there, dude, to our ladies that we actually love. So we, you know, we need to be true to them, dude, our Penelopes back home. So maybe they're cutting it up, talking about it like that on the range. I don't know, dude. But it's freaking dank to think about, dude. And then, you know, you get, of course, you're going to have your poems about rustlers and bustlers and gunslingers and all the such. But today, you know, with the modernization and the ATV herding and GPS cattling and all that stuff and chipping and whatnot, dude, the American cowboy, as we know it, seems to be something of like he says, a bygone era. But you get the poem that reflects the times, like I was saying earlier. So, you know, you can get a cowboy talking about cruising around on an ATV, or the fact if he thinks you can, you know, can you saddle up on an ATV and doesn't have the same effect, and what is the relationship, you know, then you lose a relationship between horse and man, and that's a dank relationship. And, you know, it's also sort of a green thing to be out there, although I guess it's not too green with the cattle. I guess mainly like it's big meat that has the big methane impact, not so much rural cattle herding to a degree, but I'm not an expert on that. I don't know. It's only speculation. But then, dude, what was dank, what I was reading about in this was just like, with the loss of classical cowboy, you know, in the American West due to technology and modernization, we get new voices and new insights. And I think that's always a good thing, and more diverse insights, because after all, it's factually a third of the classic cowboys we're thinking of. When I say cowboy, Aaron, when I say cowboy, what sort of image pops in your mind?
Like tall, thin, obviously boots, spurs, probably, hat,
and probably
vest, maybe.
John Wayne looking white dude, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we've seen in the movies. A third of the classic cowboys we think of were actually Native American, black, Mexican, not just white.
Hell yeah.
So all those stories, and you know, you get that in some stuff like the, you know, what's the freaking movie? Like, yeah, Django, of course. And dude, there's a great article on the Smithsonian. It's like the lesser known history of African American cowboys. Guys should give it a read. It's a quick read and it's awesome, but it's just about like how Texas played a huge role in the rise of African American cowboys, and it actually created one of the only post-slavery jobs that afforded any freedom. You know, otherwise, you know, you could, you know, obviously, I mean, up until even, you know, we're learning today, there's not fair job opportunities for black people and minorities. And it was definitely even worse directly after slavery ended. So in Texas, a great example that I'm speaking to and that this article highlights in the Smithsonian is when Texas ranch owners left their ranches to go fight in the Civil War on the side of the Confederates, of course. And they would need someone to look after the ranch and maintain it. So they would have their slaves do that. But in doing so, the slaves had to learn new wrangling and cattle herding and roping and tons of techniques and how to run a ranch and do all these things, and in essence become cowboys. And after the Civil War, that was a very, very valuable skill. A lot of people were killed. The owners of those ranches were killed. Then other, you know, dudes with money, guaranteed white dudes, would come in, buy that land, but didn't know how to maintain it or run it. So they would pay skilled laborers, who are these African American cowboys, to do it. Some of them would even get recruited and go up north where cattle was more scarce and more expensive, and the owners up there, which didn't know, you know, they didn't have the skills of a Texas rancher or Texas cowboy, would go, well, I need some cowboys to come up here and run it, and I'll pay you more than, you know, a typical job that would be available to an ex-slave post-Civil War. So always difficult stuff to navigate, because you're talking about human beings going from property to free people. So it's such a sensitive subject matter, but I think there's somewhat of a little bit of a silver lining, and I think something great that can come out of this and with the poetry too, is because you can hear African American, a cowboy poem from the African American perspective and tap into it. And then nowadays, there are tons of female ranch owners, more than have ever been in history, and they're sharing their experiences. So you're getting a female cowboy experience and poems. So it's very dank, and it is still growing. And with the Cowboys of a bygone era, we'll still have those poems to last us, but new great perspectives to come, which I think is freaking dank, dude. And maybe it even gets international, dude. I'd love to see like cowboys from like, we think country western cowboy, but basically cowboy is, if you're on the back of a horse and you're seeing the world from that perspective, I'm thinking you're sort of a cowboy, in some regard. And, you get dudes from like Kyrgyzstan, which is like definitely a horse culture, dude. They're the ones who play the game, the Coke Baru. Do you know what that is, Aaron?
No, I don't.
Dude, you probably heard of it, where they literally play, it's like 4 horsemen against 4 horsemen, and they have a lamb carcass, and it weighs like whatever 10 bricks weigh, like 35 kilos, not more. And they defend each other, dude. It's super skilled horseback riding, and they have to throw the lamb carcass like into a ring. And that's like the most popular sport in Kyrgyzstan. And they play it over like the Middle East and on the steppe, the Eurasian steppe. It's popular up there, like, but in horse culture, it seems barbaric to us, which barbaric goes. I've talked about this before, but in case you're picking at the pod here, the term barbarian comes from Greek word barbar, which was just Greeks mocking people's language they don't understand because they just say bar, 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 bar. So when you call someone a barbarian, you're innately just saying, I am not going to go and try to understand that. But if you understand the game Coke Baru, it comes from these, nomadic horse people traveling around, and they would have flocks of lamb, and they would protect them from wolves. And when they were herding the sheep back, which cowboys herd cattle, you're just herding sheep. You're freaking cowboy if you're in Kyrgyzstan, in my opinion, dude. And they would, kill a wolf to defend it, and then the guys would just have the wolf carcass, and they would play a game of trying to get it into whatever and defend each other, and then it sort of evolved into what we have it today. And then, of course, they're not going around killing wolves. They've got lambs that they can do that with. And, people that love animals, they're like, it's terrible, it's wrong. It's culture too. So, I don't know what they do with the lamb. I didn't look too much into it. This is just thing, but I don't know if they eat it afterwards. But they use it to freaking bring people together. And if one lamb can do that, is that a Machiavellian thing? I don't know. I'd go watch a game of Coke Baru. Would you, Aaron, if you were in Kyrgyzstan?
If I'm in Kyrgyzstan, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that. Get myself a lamb burger after.
Sure.
And some French fries. Because you got to be tough, and I'm not tough. Anyway, dude, fired up on Cowboy Poetry. Bunch of dudes sharing their perspective, coming together, open-minded. And I looked at a few cowboy poems, and I'm going to share one now. I'm going to do my best to share it in the sort of pentameter, I don't know if that's the proper word, but cadence that a cowboy would do it in. This is called Baxter, excuse me. This poem is called Take Care of Your Friends. Your spelled Y-E-R, see that? Innate cowboy lingo, vernacular, by Baxter Black. And honestly, dude, before I read this, I think you can take the word friend and substitute with bro, and it really, really does resonate. But here we go. And Aaron, have you ever heard this poem before? Are you familiar with it at all?
I am not familiar at all.
All right, Dank, dude. Well, hopefully it fires you up. Here we go. Take Care of Your Friends by Baxter Black. A friend is a word that I don't throw around, though it's used and abused. I still like the sound. I save it for people who've done right by me, and I know I can count on if ever need be. Some of my friends drive big limousines, own ranches and banks, and visit with queens. And some of my friends are up to their neck in overdue notes and can't write a check. They're singers or ropers or writers of prose, and others, God bless them, can't blow their own nose. I guess being friends don't have nothing to do with talent or money or knowing who's who. It's a comfortable feeling when you don't have to care about choosing your words or being quite fair. 'Cause friends will just listen and let go on by those words you don't mean and not bat an eye. It makes a friend happy to see your success. They're proud of your good side and forgive all the rest. And that ain't so easy all of the time. Sometimes I get crazy and seem to go blind. Your friend just might have to take you on home or remind you sometime that you're not alone. Or ever so gently pull you back to the ground when you think you can fly with no one around. A hug or a shake, whichever seems right, is the high point of giving, I'll tell you tonight. All worldly riches and tributes of men can't hold a candle to the worth of a friend. Take Care of Your Friends by Baxter Black.
That could have been a Johnny Cash song.
Right? I mean, yeah, you can see it. You could definitely, for sure, see it being a song. So good, dude. Speaking of great fire songs, dude, have you heard The Highwayman?
Yeah.
It's, dude, one of the best. Dude, that's a poetic song, man. That's true poetry.
It's Christopherson, Nelson, Johnny Cash, and Waylon Jennings.
Yep, Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
Freaking nailed it. Good job, Aaron. Johnny Cash's verse is my favorite in that. I drive a starship, I fly a ship across the universe divide, and I will survive. I'll be back again and again and again. So good, dude. So freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Find a place for my spirit to freaking chill. Yeah, so dank, dude. But, dude, Cowboy Poetry, man, it hits home. Speaking to us all right there. You know, friends are the most valuable thing, man. Grandma taught me that. I'm sure everyone knows that. I'm sure we all know that truth, whether we admit it to ourselves or not. And we know who our real freaking Baxter Black style bros are, dude. You just know it. I hear that. I get that question a lot, you know, on the Going Deep podcast with Chad and JT. We get that, dude. How do you know when you found your true friend, man? How do you know when you got your squad, dude? I think if you reference this Baxter Black poem when you go, are my friends, you know, can I count on them? Are they there? You look at any one of these lines. If they fulfill, you know, I'm looking at it right now, eyeballing it. There's probably 25 lines in that poem. If one of your friends fulfills half of those, they're probably a good dude. They fulfill them all. It's the best man style right there. But Aaron, I was inspired, dude, and I wrote a poem. I wrote my very own cowboy poem, dude.
I like it. Can't wait.
You want to hear it?
I do.
All right, here we go. Heavily inspired by Baxter Black. You're going to notice in the first stanza here. All right, here we go. Bro is a word I say to most dudes. I'll have to admit, it's quite overused. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll still say it, then go along. But my real bros are the few gathered round my bong. Dennis, that's my bong's name, 'cause Dennis is a good businessman name. And my bong's business is getting bros shacked. So frickin' dank like my GF's chickpea snack. Now, I don't rip Dennis much anymore, but all the dudes who did definitely still cruise. Blaine Reynolds, Dylan Stack, Trotter, all the dudes. We've grown together and been through the stoke and the blues. My true bro knows me better than I do. He knows the old me, the current me, and maybe my future version too. He's there to advise, and when it calls, justly criticize. I'll have his back, and mine will be watched in return. This trust is something that comes naturally, yet somehow earned. So I guess when I say, bro, I'm just saying peace, which is chill. But my true bros gather round my grill, and they know I cook up fish tacos like a fucking beast. It's called My Bros by Strider Wilson. What do you think, dude?
Strider's also a cowboy name.
Strider's a fantastic cowboy name.
Yeah.
Strider's Aragorn's name in Lord of the Rings, by the way.
Who is?
It's pretty braggy.
A ranger.
He's a ranger.
So.
I don't know right who he is, but around these parts he's known as Strider. All right, dude. I mean, that fires me up. Fires me up. I mean, it was tough, dude, when I was writing that cowboy poem. I just went back to Baxter Black. I mean, I think a heavy theme in cowboy poetry probably has to be horniness. You're out there on the range. It's probably got to be all horny. Probably poems just like, probably you probably write a poem like, "Oh, my wife's got blue eyes. And I go down to the creek and I stare at it hornily. My wife's got blue eyes. I like that. Gets me horny. Blue eyes like the creek. When I see a buffalo, I am, of course, awestruck, but at the same time, just thinking of how I like to fuck." I mean, that's a verse right there. That's got to be what it is. I don't know. Aaron, just throw me something. Let's see if I can get a little something out on there, Now that I'm tapping into my poetry, my cowboy poetry. I got my muse. My muse for cowboy poetry is horniness. What do you...
It's awful lonely out on the range. Traveled far and wide, looking for some strange.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Oh. You go, they say in the morning you must answer. If you're surrounded by a wolf pack and nature calls, you must answer as if you had blue balls. Not as good as yours.
I feel like the rhyme needed to be with answer.
You're right. I don't know what I can rhyme sexually with answer.
Private dancer.
There we go. Yeah, I want to hire a private dancer. Man, I wish this banshee camping in the woods next to me would just
have sex with
me, man. When I see a banshee in the woods, I think to myself, I'd like to have sex with this banshee, 'cause I'm horny. To be a cowboy, maybe the only things you have to do is respect nature and deny yourself love. So those might be the hard, fast rules. And, know how to have your heels down and get into a good post. See, this is why the Cowboys are creating there. Now I'm sort of marginalizing these things. I'm doing what I don't want to do and what the cowboy poets intended for society not to do. But I just love horny cowboy poems. I want to try to go to the National Cowboy Poetry Convention and just bust out a poem, about straight up, the horniness, or maybe do a valet one, dude, Bring my industry in there, I'm wrangling cars. I'm parking them straight. I'm parking them crooked. I'm backing them in and I'm pulling them out. Just thinking all night about how, I just want to be back home with a warm cup of hot chocolate and eating on some flapjacks. I don't know, man. Just what I want to do. It's just dank. It's just dank. Out on the range, thinking what's dank. Looking at my finger, just hoping it was covered in somebody's stank. Oh my God. That's disgusting. I'm not cutting it. When I become a congressman, and I'm having a campaign, people are going to look back and they're going to go, look what fucking Strider said on this podcast right there. You want this guy setting the budget? You want this guy reworking signing off on whatever bill we're voting on? Nah. But you know what, guys? You do, because I'm candid. And that's where the word candidate comes from. All right, let's take a few cues and then head out, dude. Strider, similar to the question during the Surrealist Art episode, but in a different scenario. I'll set the stage. You're walking home from something classy like a wine tasting or a garden party with your GF when it starts to rain. You insist on taking a shortcut through an alleyway. Your GF is less inclined, but the rain is persuasive. This is amazing. This is like a poem. You're halfway through the alley when two mountainous-looking dudes and two formidable females confront you from the far side. Running is not an option. Much like Anchorman, you have a conch shell that can summon two guys and two ladies from history to aid you in a street scuffle. Who are you summoning to protect you and your GF? Whoa. Great question. So I need to summon 4 people for my squad. This is from Matt Rocco, I believe. I only have his Gmail. I don't want to say his email. But from this dude, Matt, dude, he's written in before. Legend. Matt, keep bringing these fire questions. I mean, dude, immediately I'm thinking William Wallace. Obviously, I'm not going to pick like a gunslinger. You know, I did talk cowboy, but I want this to be a fisticuffs type fight. There's an ancient boxer from Greece called Melanochamus or something like that, where he never even hit somebody. He just was so fast, he would tire everyone out. But I might need somebody who can actually pack a little bit of a punch. But that might not be bad. There's a gladiator called the Flame who denied himself his own freedom 5 times because he just wanted to keep freaking gladiating, dude. Maybe I'd take the Flame, summon that dude. I'd summon, forget her name, but like Genghis Khan's, one of his son's nieces. Maybe Kublai Khan's niece.
Shaka Khan?
Shaka Khan. Yeah, dude, I want to summon Shaka Khan. Just sing, get everyone in a good mood. She just starts singing, tell me something good. Uh-oh. And everyone's like, dude, we can't fight. We got to dance, dude. Yeah. That'd be nice. Peace-inducing. But she was a badass warrior. She even said, she's like, if anyone can wrestle me and win, the only way I'll marry a man is if he beats me in a fight. And she like, and then the thing was, it was a wager. And if the guy lost, then she would take your horses. And apparently she collected over like 10,000 horses in her lifetime. She would just freaking pwn dudes wrestling. She did end up marrying a dude, but I would take her for sure. Maybe William Wallace, the Flame, and then I got to get another lady in there. I would take let's see. Hey, my ex-wife, man, she'll cut you down with her zingers. Look out. Whoa. Make everyone feel bad about themselves, get in their own head and just want to go home. Whoa, vicious. Let's see. That joke's staying in. So unfunny as it was, the Catskills ex-wife summoner guy, it's staying in. I want to just say like Joan of Arc. Who's a badass lady? I mean, dude, like an Amazonian warrior, but I don't know one. You know? Probably a frickin' Viking shield maiden, dude. You know? That's who I got to get. Honestly, JT has me watching these CrossFit docs, dude. Maybe like Sarah Sigmundsdottir. She's a freaking tank. She's a beast. She's in shape. She's fit. She does heavy DT with like 215. I'm taking Sarah Sigmundsdottir. I'm taking Kublai Khan's niece. I'm forgetting her name. Please forgive me. I'm taking the Flame, and I'm taking William Wallace. And then I'm taking the cake in that fight. And I'm making the other team eat freaking Maricondo cherry pie. Aaron, do you got any? What are you thinking over there about your squad, dude?
I mean, you got to. First one comes to mind. You got to go Bruce Lee.
Smart. Okay. Now we're talking.
I mean, yeah. Bruce
Smart.
Lee, number one. Maybe you don't even need the rest. You know what I'm
You might
saying?
be right. He's going to beat everyone's butt.
He's so fast.
Yeah. He's like Melanakis or whatever that dude's name is. I keep wanting to say Andy Melanakis.
Yeah.
Malakanos or something. I forget his name. Okay, so you got Bruce Lee, legit.
Yeah, if you're keeping it fisticuffs, it's hard because it's not a lot of women known for fisticuffs. Like your Annie Oakley or something.
You can use shields, and swords. I mean, this lady I was talking about, she wrestled dudes, won horses.
Yeah.
Joan of Arc was heroic, had great spirit. But I'm thinking this is like a sword fight, too.
I think, like Annie Oakley, I think would be a good one.
Love that.
Bring her out. She can hang back, snipe.
Hell yes.
I think Wojtek the bear.
Dude, yes. Yes, dude, you got to get the bear. Smart. Why? I'm just thinking dudes and ladies, but Wojtek's a dude.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking sapiens, dude?
Yeah.
Let's get some freaking bears in the mix. Smart. I love it. Do you need one more lady? You got Wojtek, you got Bruce Lee. Oh no, you got Annie Oakley, and you got.
I need one more lady.
Yeah.
I think I will go Shaka Khan.
I love that. Because you got Annie Oakley sniping. No one's going to get close to Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
She can sing.
Yeah.
She's going to be hitting notes. And honestly, you could probably get some sort of battle cadences. You could probably even train up a song where it's sort of like a trumpet, something means charge. She hits a high C note, means charge, like a low E is all right, fall back into defensive positions. Might be a good strategic move for you. I'm fired up on that move.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Sick, dude. All right. Dude's taking some poetry. That's a fire up. I love that fire question at the end there. I only did one today. Just keep it high and tight for you guys, dude. If you're getting to work, whatever you got to do, continue your days, dude. Keep crushing other pods, dude. Stay stoked. Send in some stuff, dude. Check out the, the link on YouTube. Get this pod wherever you want, dude. If you're listening, dude, fired up on that, dude. Thanks. Share it with your bros. Share a poem with your friends. Share the pod with your friends. Share your thoughts with me, corrections, questions, suggestions at StraderWilsonShreds@gmail.com, and just freaking stay stoked. And all right, man. And you know what, dude? When it comes to being a cowboy, you don't want to be all hat and no cowboy. Just like when it comes to being a good bro, you don't want to be all beanie and no bro. And that's just what's up, dude. You gotta freaking walk the walk and talk the talk. So just take that out there into whatever you do today and freaking stay stoked. Let